Hey everybody, thanks for watching Weekend Garage. So today's a big day. I'm going to be cracking open the American Auto wire harness for my 71 Monte Carlo SS. I already took a sneak peek at everything. I mentioned this is made for it's made for a 70 to 72 Monte Carlo. But this is not a factory replica. If you want a factory replica wire harness, you want to go to M&H. They make an exact replica. They also make like hybrids as well, where you can get like an updated fuse block. And the more I think about this, at least the last few days, maybe that's the route I should have went. And I'll kind of explain it here. But I haven't even started wiring the car yet, so maybe when I wire it up, I'll change my mind. But right off the surface, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So there looks to be some pretty good information here right off the bat. Some instructions. But this is here what I want to share with you guys. So it basically says, if I looked on here, it has five bullet points, I guess you would call it. First one, it says this kit should typically be used in a modified application only. Now, my car is technically modified, right? I have a Holley Sniper on it. You know, the engine is not the factory engine, although it's a big block, you know, 467, dyno tested to 605 horsepower. So it's not stock, but obviously that doesn't really have anything to do with the wire harness because it's still a big block Chevrolet. So it also says here, the number 2 says this kit supports the use of factory heater systems and aftermarket heater and AC systems. It says here the kit supplies power to a factory AC control head, but does not include the actual AC harness for an original factory AC vehicle. So with that being said, I do have the factory compressor on here and condenser, and I plan on installing the factory system on here. It also says factory original AC harnesses are available under our factory fit product line, as they are self-contained harnesses made to fit and work with the stock AC component configuration. So the good news is they actually make a harness for that. I thought that everything was included in here. But I get it, right? I understand this is an aftermarket harness, so not a big deal. The third point, it says this kit supports the use of a high current self-exciting one-wire alternator or other style internally regulated alternators. It says an adapter may be necessary in some applications. The use of a stock low amperage alternator is seriously discouraged, as they cannot handle the higher current requirements of updated ignition systems, electric fans, aftermarket AC systems, stereo systems, air ride suspension, and other power-hungry accessories, and will ultimately create performance issues with the system. So there's a couple of things in that area that do fall under my category, right? So I do have the HyperSpark distributor from Holley, and I am going to be using the HyperSpark ignition box. I haven't bought it yet, but so I do plan on using that high performance ignition system. So it looks like this probably would have been the better route to go because of that. And again, reiterating, I do have the Holley Sniper on this, so again, there's going to be provisions for that. Okay, so number 4, it says this kit will not support the use of a factory ammeter. It says all kits are engineered to supply the optimum charge to the battery. To achieve this performance, we route our 6-gauge charge wire directly from the alternator output charge terminal to the starter battery terminal. It says due to the path of the charge being altered from the stock configuration, the gauge can no longer see a charge versus a discharge, so it will not work properly. It says when ammeters were originally used, most generator or alternator current outputs were rated at a maximum of about 25 to 60 amps. says modified cars built today typically utilize a 100 amp or higher output alternator. With these higher current units, ammeters, generally speaking, become a safety hazard. Ammeters are usually wired in parallel to the charging circuit, are typically unfused, and can short very easily, causing a fire. A voltmeter is recommended as a good alternative. Okay, so that's kind of a big deal for me, so I guess I'm going to have to just scrap the factory gauges, at least at this point. I'll as I work through this, I'll see if maybe there's another alternative. But I will say I have been this whole time contemplating going back and forth with the Dakota Digital solution for my gauges. So, you know, that may be the route that I have to go. Fifth point here, it says, this kit is not set up with a resistance wire for a standard points type ignition system, which is fine. I'm not running points, you know, I'm running HEI, you know, with the Hyperspark distributor. It says it is wired with a full 12 volt primary ignition feed that is hot in the run position. Primary ignition voltage in the starting position is handled via a full 12 volt bypass wire. Our system will support HEI, MSD, other electronic ignition systems, as well as most all computerized fuel injection systems. So it does say if you wish to run a points type system, there are illustrations on the engine connection pages to do so. It says extra parts, a ballast resistor that are not included in this kit will be required to complete that operation. Okay, sorry for the long and slow read about everything. But again, this is something that I just wanted you all to be aware of, because I know some of you that are watching this channel are doing your own builds at the moment. So like I commented on somebody's comment on my channel the other day, and I told him, hey, learn from my mistakes, right? So don't make mistakes, just learn from not to do what I'm doing. Okay, so let's see what else we have here. So I got there's a little packet of connectors here, and looks like we got some instructions here. There's a wiring diagram. Let's see what this consists of right here. Okay, nice. So I'm not gonna read all this to you. Again, sorry. I just wanted you guys, if you're watching this, to know what you're getting into if you run with this wire harness. So that's nothing negative, not trying to talk negative about it. This is an awesome wire harness. But again, don't want you to get something and then run into, you know, having to do a whole bunch of extra stuff that you didn't need to do. So this is what this document looks like. Looks like it's showing the headlights getting wired up and stuff, as well as I believe that's the tail lights. And I'll dig into this a little deeper, but I wanted to show it to you. So this is really cool. It has a start here guide open for you guys to look at. So I just want you guys to see what I am seeing. Oh, they're calling this jumper harnesses. Looks like it has like the headlight sockets and some other things in here. So we got this. Some other stuff here. Actually, what I'm going to do, we've got all this wiring here. So one thing to note about this wire harness too is that it comes with extra length wire. So if you want to tuck and hide your wiring, you can do that. And I plan on doing that as much as I can. I really am into the clean look. So if I'm able to hide some of the wiring, especially like under the hood and stuff, I'm going to do that. And this looks like the main one here with the fuse block on it. Okay, here it is. There's another. Looks like there's. I'll figure out what that other. I thought that was a front. This is the front here. So looks good so far. So good. Looks like we got a. It's like a. It's a headlight switch. Very interesting. That's cool. That's nice to know. This, I have no idea what it is. That one was labeled though. Nice. This is cool. This is the bright light switch that's on the floor. That's cool. See, I didn't realize it came with some of this stuff. I thought it was just basically the wire, and I was glad that it did have the sockets for the bulbs and things of that nature. So that's cool that it has like little stuff like this in it. So I got some fuses here and the flasher relays and things of that nature. This is cool. Let's see. This looks, yep. Got the battery cable, or I think it's the battery cable. It's pretty heavy. It's a main power cable here with its own fuse block and everything. So this is really cool. I'm looking at the start here instructions, and basically it says that this kit's broken down into individual steps. So if you look here, you have letters right here, and it basically is going to show you each step. So that's super cool. So I'm going to get started on this. I don't have my dash ready to put in right now. I have to recondition it. It needs to be totally redone. So I'll show that and everything later on. So I'm gonna read through this real quick and then figure out what section I'm going to work on. So it looks like the first step is to work with the dash harness. So this includes the fuse block and everything. And as I mentioned, I don't have the dash ready to go right now, but I'm going to go ahead and get the fuse block installed. Okay, so I just cut this open, the dash harness, and it has this little instruction kit that I'm going to open up in a second here. But yeah, this is a pretty massive harness here. I'm going to pull out of the bag here in a second, but while I got you guys here, I'm going to open this up. Again, this is a resto mod here. In my opinion, it's just a little bit above a mild resto mod. I was trying to make everything look as factory as possible. To grab some of this non-stick tape that they use in the factory. So this is basically a replica of the same thing. I did pick this up at Inline Tube. Let's see here. So, and you can get it elsewhere as well, but Inline Tube has some goodies as well. A lot of little knickknacks that are handy for our Monte Carlo build. All right. Wow, this is cool. This is really nice. Man, check this out. Color pictures. Really cool. So I'm going to be going through this. See, look, it even shows the fuse block there. Well, this one did too, I guess. If you read this, it says 7072 Chevelle, so there's a lot of similarities between the Monte Carlo and Chevelle as far as some of the parts, but it actually highlights that in instructions here to take note that some of the Monte Carlo wiring is different than the Chevelle, some of the sockets and things of that nature. I'm going to get the fuse block taken out of the bag here, and I'm going to attempt to mount it. Got a huge bundle of wires here, and being that I don't have the dash ready to go, I'm probably just going to have to let the wires, the bundle of wires for the dash, just kind of sit to the side. There's a separate dash harness, but all these obviously will connect to it. So I'm going to mount this up. So it came with 2 long screws here. Put it in there, and that's upside down. And this is interesting. I was wondering what this little loopy thing is here is for. It's to put the, looks like it's to hold the wire harness. So let's see how this goes in. All right. It's kind of that in a couple of turns. There's 2 basically long screws. One, they kind of go diagonal like that. So got that one in, and get this other one going. Well, what do you know? It's going right in, and I can't even see. Can't even see what I'm doing, and it appears to be going in. Let me check. Yeah, it's going in good in the firewall, so we're doing good here. Just gonna tighten this in there. Okay, nice. So that turned out pretty good. This is a handy little loop here. I'll probably, yeah, look at that. Bends really easy. Pretty sure maybe around here I should start wrapping it, and then just coming out. But I'm going to do a little bit of homework on that. Obviously, I could wrap it when it's already all wired up, right? But I'm going to look at that definitely. So yeah, now that looks good. I'm going to take a look at the instructions here and see what's next. Okay, so I got my boys wiping down the areas where there's going to be glue applied and insulation. So they're going around and getting everything wiped clean with those Eastwood cloths. Get any impurities or anything greasy or oily, or basically anything that's going to prevent adhesion for the glue. So this is just pre-work, getting ready for when I get the upholstery put in. So just want to show you guys that. I'm going to go ahead and work on the engine compartment portion of the wire harness, because that plugs in basically in the engine compartment, and I can start routing the wires. There's the engine kit here, and just got to get this thing open up and we'll look at it. Take the little instruction packet out and look at that. So what's pretty cool about this kit, you know, is each wire harness section has its own set of instructions, and that's super cool, along with connectors and things of that nature. So so I got to make sure, obviously, and keep everything together and not mix the packets up. But let me open this up and show you guys. Now this right here talks about how to mount it, and it also talks about the wire harness wrap, which is cool. I'm glad that they have that on here. So this is basically showing a wiring schematic of how it's going to wire under the hood. So I'm going to get this thing plugged in to the fuse block, and we'll get started. One thing I forgot, you know, I'm going to go ahead and work on the engine bay wire harness, but I forgot these earlier in one of the videos. I was talking to you about these braces. They go on the fender between the firewall and the fender. It's a brace to kind of help stiffen things up. You know, again, this is in another video, but right here, you see there. So I never put them on. I was just kind of dragging my feet, but being that it's going to be right next to where the wire harness plugs into the firewall for the engine compartment. So it's going to be basically, it'll be tough to put it on after I get the wire harness plugged in. So I'm going to go ahead and mount these right now. And there's also a little cover that goes over it. I never bought those, so I'll figure that. I'll cross that bridge when it comes. Okay, so I got it mocked up, the brace mocked up. So I got the flashlight here because it was hard to see on the camera. So there's a bolt that goes in the fender here, and then there's one that goes at the bottom here, and that gets the brace all cinched up, and that's going to help firm things up here in the front. Now we're going to go ahead and get the engine wiring harness put on, and also I'm going to need to connect the headlight wire harness as well, and I'll show you why. If we look at the instructions here, basically to plug into the bulkhead of the wire harness and the firewall, you're going to need to bring these two harnesses together as it shows here. As I had shown on those instructions, these got to plug in together. So if you see this, and that's the engine harness there, and I'm trying not to let this unravel all the way. Can you hold that, please? The end of it. And then this is the headlight one. And basically, if you can see here, not sure how great the lighting is, but this slides right in. And I don't know if you heard, I shouldn't have talked, but it clicked. So now this is one piece. It's going to be this side is the engine harness, and this side is for the headlights and everything there. So I'm going to plug this in here. Okay. So I'm guessing I just screw this in. Yep, it's going right in. It's going in pretty nice. Looks good. I also put dielectric grease on those terminals. That way, in case if I have to pull it out, at least it'll have some lubrication in there. So here's a close-up of it all. So you can see what it looks like. Harness on the right is for the headlights, the left is for the engine. So I'm gonna get to getting this stuff figured out. Stay tuned.